All right, hello everybody. We're sitting here this afternoon at my shop, the world headquarters of whatever the heck this is. And I'm sitting here with my buddy Jason Duncan. Jason's a member of the Lake Oconee Striper Club, and he's also a fishing guide here locally. And we just thought we'd kind of have a conversation before the club meeting tonight and kind of give y'all a little bit of an update of what's biting, where it's biting, how it's biting, and then a little bit of an overview of Jason's guide service. So, Jason, thanks for coming, man.
No problem. Thanks for the invite.
Yeah. So, how's the fishing been lately?
It's getting hot. Getting real good.
Yeah.
The artificial bite has been off the chain lately. Catch a lot on the mini max. I've been using crankbaits, pulling the crankbaits.
You pulling just single crankbaits or a double rig?
Single crankbait, but I'll run about 8 poles.
Okay.
Put them out at various lengths. They only dive about 12 feet, so you're all fishing the same depth.
You running shad wraps or?
Shad wraps and bombers.
Okay.
They tend to hit the shad wrap a little better. I'll try to use a shad colored bomber, pearl white. It looks just like a thread fin. That's what our primary bait is in the lake.
Yeah.
So they tend to hit those pretty good. Get a lot of white bass on them.
That's one of my biggest white bass baits.
Yeah.
You get that what is it, a 7 shad wrap, I think?
I use a bomber. It's called the fry size bomber.
Yeah.
In the pearl white.
Yep.
And I think Academy is the only one that sells them off the shelf.
Okay.
When I see
I've
them,
seen them, but
I'll buy every one of them. Everybody else has the fingerlings.
Yeah.
They don't have the fry size. When the shad starts spawning and those white bass are in the river, that's my go-to bait. I don't use the catch-all spinners or little grubs. I just troll right down the middle of the river and throw it like I'm bass fishing.
Okay.
And it's a bigger fish.
Yeah. I imagine so.
Every now and then you'll catch a big striper that came up through there. Chase it all up
they
down
tend
the river.
to follow. They tend to follow those white bass.
All right.
But so you're trolling some plugs now, and is the live bait bite doing any good or?
The live bait bite is really picking up. I've been catching them on down lines, 25, 30 foot of water. Find them in the coves, on the deep coves or around the humps, mainly on the south end of the lake, between Long Shoals and the dam, mouth of Richland Creek. When the sun comes out and gets a little warmer, they'll hit the flat lines and the planer boards. I've been doing pretty good on those. Really.
When you say warmer, are you talking about water temperature?
The water temperature. It cooled off big time this weekend.
Yeah, and then that rain we got yesterday.
Yeah, it's just making it rough.
It knocked it in the head. It was 60. Friday, it was 62, 63 degrees around the mouth of Richland and all that.
Right.
I don't even know what it is now. I hadn't heard.
I don't know. I'll know in the morning.
Yeah. You have to send me a text of what it is.
All right.
What else? Mini Max. They still
Mini
hitting
Max,
those.
yeah,
I know
Mini
Mac
Max.
put you on the website.
He did.
This week.
I appreciate the shout out, Mac. Thanks. The Mini Mac bite's been pretty good. I trolled 3. I let them out. My 2 outside poles, I let them out at 150 feet and 30-pound mono. Okay. Which puts them about 15, 18 foot deep.
Okay.
And then my 3rd one, I put it out of the rocket launcher off the key top. So because it's up higher, I run it out 200 feet. And that'll drop it down a little bit. If I speed up, if I get any faster, I run about 2 1/4 miles per hour.
Yeah.
If I get up 2 1/2, 2 3/4, then that middle one's running probably 8 feet.
It'll start to sail pretty good.
Yeah, it sails up pretty good, and you'll get that top bite.
Okay. Are you running that with your big motor, or are you doing a troll motor?
The big motor, yeah. Okay. Yeah, especially like Saturday when we had the windstorm.
You couldn't do anything with a troll motor Saturday?
No, you couldn't. I was using a gas motor. It was rough. It was real rough. 3 foot seas.
Did you catch anything?
Did. I boated 5 in about 2 hours. That's about all I could take up. My backbone couldn't take it anymore.
I fished the day before with Kevin Underwood, pre-fishing for the BFL that was canceled.
Yes.
They canceled the BFL, which, funny enough, I think they held the Boy Scout tournament down at Sinclair.
All right.
They held it, or some tournament down there, and a couple others, but everything on Oconee got canceled. So, you know, we had an incredible day. There was bait everywhere. There
Right.
was.
I actually caught bait Saturday morning.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we were fixing to be full-fledged spring bite. I mean,
Yeah.
the crappie have spawned in most places on the lake,
Right.
or they're spawning right now. You could smell them in several coves that we were in.
Yeah,
on
don't
Friday.
wait for the dogwoods.
Not
That
this
is-
year.
Nah,
Not this year.
no, it's the Bradford pears on Oconee.
Yep.
You see them spawning? That's the time the crappie fish.
Yep. Yep. It's the pears here. Although my granddaddy, who was from the mountains, always said when the dogwoods bloom, the turkeys are gobbling and the crappie are biting.
Right. Yeah.
So-
yeah.
But how do you rig your free lines and your down lines when you're trolling that?
My down lines, I use a 17-pound main line. I just use a Bass Pro Shop Extreme mono. It's cheap. I buy 1,000 yards full at a time. It holds up good. It has low memory, and I use an 1.5 ounce swivel weight, trolling weight with swivels on. Then I use depending on how good they're biting. If they're biting really good, I'll use a 2 or 3 foot leader, because you don't have to have that bait swimming around. The hotter it gets and the more pressure, I'll make my leader maybe 6 foot long.
Yeah.
And I'll go in. Normally I use a 1/0 octopus hook Gamakatsu. But as the season gets warmer and warmer, gets towards the summer, I'll start using a lighter and lighter hook and gets that bait to where they can swim around. Gives the fish, it attracts those fish a lot better.
You using a fluorocarbon leader?
I use Seagar 12-pound fluorocarbon. And when I go to the lighter stuff, I'll go down to an 8-pound leader.
Yeah.
Last year I was fishing the East Hump. There was a boat on either side of me, and they were catching a fishing out here and there. And I probably caught 40. And I was using spinning reels with 12-pound line, the smallest little swivel I could get, and an 8-pound fluorocarbon leader with like a number 6 octopus hook. I mean, it looked like a brim hook.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think you'd be able to reel in a 6 or 8-pound hybrid on them. And then I'd find the biggest shad I could get. At this time we had the pump back. It was like the perfect storm of having the pump back. Spotlight, the boat swung around right at the hump. The wind was blowing in that direction. And I caught them all off flat lines.
So you just let it go out?
I just let it go out, or I put a little baby split shot with the BB size split shot.
Yeah.
Flip it out, let out 30, 40 foot of line, and just let the current do the rest. And hang on. It's fun on the light spinning reels.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. That's what I tend to run lighter than most everybody else all the time. I run 10-pound diamond
Right.
monofilament on spinning rods, and we'll put them on there with a little lightweight and everything, just enough to keep it straight if I'm sitting still.
Right.
For a down line. And then I use number 1 hooks and those mustad mosquito hooks.
Right.
Those number 1s like that, and I rarely get any bigger than that anymore because I catch plenty of fish. I catch
Right.
big fish with them.
I would say we don't have the big fish like Lanier, but
We're getting close.
Barry and Kenny is proving us wrong.
Yeah.
We're getting beat out by a catfisherman. It's killing me.
Now, what I have heard is that the 20-pound striper that was caught on Doug's tournament a couple of weeks ago was caught on a Zoom Super Fluke.
I'm not sure. I know Barry is using artificial,
Okay.
and Kenny's a live bait fisherman.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Kenny was fishing like he's fishing for catfish.
Now, how big was his?
It was 20 pounds 1 ounce, so he beat.
Really?
He's now the leader.
By
Yeah,
1 ounce.
By 1 ounce. Yep.
Who'd have thought that
And
we'd have two 20-pound
2 20
stripers
pounders. Yeah.
inside of
And
3 weeks?
Yes, he caught a 20 pounder, a 17 pounder, and a 16 pounder all in one day.
Wow.
Yes, sir. Live bait fishing. Now I seen him from where he was coming from. I won't give his secret away, but
Don't give that out.
I seen where he was coming from. Because he happened to pass me running 90 miles an hour. He must have had that 20-pound striper in the boat.
He didn't want that thing throwing up and giving up any weight.
Right. But I'm pretty sure he was using live bait. I've heard two different stories. That the super fluke is new. I heard he caught it on a bucktail jig.
Okay.
But I know he fishes for them like bass.
Yeah.
He's a bass fisherman.
Yeah, I mean, the story I heard was that it was schooling fish, and that I think it was Mark Smith told me that he tossed a super fluke in there
Right.
on it. Now, I don't know anybody that saw it being caught. I know Kevin Wall saw it at Sugar Creek, but that's all I know about it right now. And that's but the fact that we've got two 20-pound stripers
Yes.
inside of 3 weeks that have been weighed in tournaments is
it's phenomenal.
that's a great sign for us.
It is.
I mean, I didn't think that I would see the day, and we don't even have the new aeration system working in the lake yet,
Right.
and we're seeing this. So
I've seen more big fish caught this season than I have in probably 3 or 4 years total.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of double-digit fish coming out of the lake. I've yet to catch one. Some reason or other, I can catch a lot of numbers. I guide, so I'm more about the numbers.
You think overall we're pretty healthy right now, though?
We are.
The fish are.
We
I've
are.
caught very few fish myself that have any type of lice or anything on them like that. So.
I hadn't seen any. When it was cooler, you can see where they were hugging the bottom. Their bellies were red, fins was red. That was just from hugging the bottom. They're starting to clear up now. Water temperature's coming up, so they're real pretty healthy fish. They're full of roll now. I kept a few for dinner not too long ago, and they were all full of roe. It's about to be on. As soon as these shads start spawning, it's going to be on.
How far away do you think the shad spawn is for us right now?
A couple of weeks, I think.
By the 1st of April, you think we'll be seeing it?
Yeah, we should be.
If we get it, I'd agree with you. If we get another week of 70s, 80s.
Yeah, just you out there watch them rocks. Watch the riffraff, you'll see them. It sound like it's raining.
It sound like it's raining, and you better have your rattle trap or
right.
a little shad wrap or something like that tied on. And
anywhere
you'll load the boat with everything that's in the lake.
Everywhere you see them spawning, there's going to be fish there.
Yeah, there'll be hybrids and stripers.
And the white bass, when those shads start spawning, up around the railroad trestle where the two rivers come together, a big point right there. That's a good place to load up the boat on a good limit.
Yep. The white bass fishery here. Several people I've heard describe it as it's kind of like quail. We have good years and we have bad years.
We do.
And we've had some good years lately because last summer was the first summer, and I don't know when. I spent a month where we had topwater bite.
Right.
I mean, if you were willing to be out before daylight, when the sun hit the water, you were catching fish that were busting top.
Yep.
Good white bass. Bo, my son, caught a 4.5 pound white.
It's nice white.
Yeah. On a rattle trap. That was the biggest one I've ever seen.
Right.
And
I've caught them out of Lanier like that. They say there's not many in Lanier.
Yeah.
I've had a big school of them go by, and caught them on herring.
Yep.
They're using a 6 or 8 inch herring and catching white bass. They're
this
big
one
white.
could have eaten it. Yeah.
They look like a
Look like a hybrid.
Look like a hybrid, yeah.
Yeah, they look like a big hybrid. What about have you noticed any moving up yet? Because as of last week, they seem to kind of be, and I'm talking about the first week of March right now, that they seem to be kind of mid-lake. That Sugar Creek area right in there between 44 and I-20. Nobody I know has seen them up at the Dyer's pasture in that way yet.
No, I hadn't. I actually 2 weeks ago I trolled I started out at Swords crappie fishing. Then I came out under I-20 max, and I pulled all the way down to Sugar Creek and back, and didn't get one fish. I come across a few schools, but didn't pick up anything.
We caught a few whites in there trolling little like DB3s and stuff like that. We throw a 3-way rig a lot. We throw like a DB3 or a Bagley, something like that. Did a 12, 15 foot crankbait, and then we'll put a little 1/4 ounce bucktail or a crappie jig above it. Looks like it's like bait fish chasing bait fish.
Right.
And we picked up 4 or 5 whites up at Sugar Creek then, and I know we saw schools all between there and I-20 when we looked, but we couldn't get them to bite for anything. They just were not interested in anything. So it's kind of like they were in some kind of
staging process.
Transitional state there. They weren't quite ready to go up, but they weren't ready to do anything yet.
All right, I hadn't really been concentrating on the white bass. I've been down on the lower end, anywhere from.
But there's none of them down there, right now.
No, I hadn't. I'll catch one every now and then, but not enough to say that they're actually spawning or on a run.
Yeah. So you guys that are waiting for them to go to Dyer's, it's close.
Yeah.
If you're catching them, shoot me an email. But it's close. It's close.
Don't put it on Facebook.
Yeah, do not put that on social media. Please don't do it. Give the rest of us a chance to catch a few.
All right.
Well, what's your plans for the rest of the year in terms of fishing? What is your schedule? When do you stop fishing for stripers? When do you start back up? And kind of if somebody was going to call and say they wanted to come with you and have a great day, when's that going to be?
Toward the end of the month, all the way until the late June will be great. That's when the bite will be down at the dam. It'll be a live bait bite. Most of the time it's down lines till later in the afternoon. Then I'll start pulling flat lines and planer boards. And I'll do that all the way up until late June. Starts tapering off in July to about the second week of July, and then I'll stop striper fishing. We get low oxygen levels, and they move up the river, and it's hot. It's just a rough day. So I'll pick back up in October, early November, and I'll fish all winter long. I don't even deer hunt as much anymore. I bought me a cold weather suit, and I got an ice fishing suit, and I fish all winter. Fishing is phenomenal in the winter. There's a lot of big fish. We don't catch quite as many, but they're quality fish. I love the downline bite down at the dam. Fishing with lake shad. It's an awesome time. It's a good time to get the kids on the water. Poles just bend over and touch the water. You just pick them up and reel them in. It's as easy as that. Wear them kids out and fill the cooler full. It's fun.
What kind of real quick, if somebody's watching this and they hadn't been to Oconee, or they don't fish Oconee a whole lot, and that's our home waters here.
Right.
So if they don't fish here a whole lot, or they've never been here, but they want to come, what would you tell somebody? How would you tell somebody to go out on this lake and kind of have and begin a strategy of putting together striper fishing, hybrid fishing on Lake Oconee?
Electronics. You need a decent electronic. You don't have to have real expensive ones. Just wanted to show you humps, and the points. Down imaging is not necessary. You don't necessarily have to have that. But look on the points and the humps. Find points and humps. Find the bait fish. Find the bait fish. The fish will be there. You just have to try it. Drop live bait down 25, 30 feet and sit there over the bait. If they don't bite within 15, 20, 30 minutes, move and find some more bait and try it again. You just have to keep moving around, and you'll find a school of them. They're going to follow that bait. They're constantly eating. Find the bait and you'll find the fish. The easiest way to find them is pull Mini-Max. Pull Mini-Max with a gas engine, put 2 out the back of the boat and pull them around. If you start picking up 2 or 3, mark that location. If you don't have GPS, look at landmarks. Find a big tree or a boat dock with a blue tarp or what have you.
Or get you a couple of marker buoys.
Yeah, or throw a marker buoy.
Old school.
Right, yeah. I still use them when I'm crappie fishing. If I mark some, if I'm running along and I see a bunch of crappie on a tree, I'll throw a marker buoy out and come back and try to catch them.
Yeah.
Even when I'm striper fishing.
I do that when I move up the river looking for
Right.
hybrids of white basses. I'll toss them when I'm trolling.
Right.
I'll just toss them out.
A mini mac.
Pray they don't get hooked.
Yeah. Yeah, I've lost a lot. There's a lot of people don't pick up their trout lines in the river, and I've lost many a crankbait on those trout lines. Be careful swimming in there.
Exactly.
But pulling a few crankbaits behind the boat or pulling a mini mac is a good way to locate fish. If you don't have electronics, get down and fish, just pull them in the channel and swing around the humps or the points. Everybody can find the points. Pull them off the points. In the spring, you'll see the shad spawning in the morning. Get through and pull back and forth along that bank where they're spawning. Look along the riffraff or the seawalls, you'll see them. You'll see them flickering along the wall. Get in there and pull back and forth. If you have a cast net, catch you a few of them. Throw the cast net, catch you some of that live bait. They're hard to keep alive. Have a round tank because they'll bunch up in the corner and die.
Yeah.
So catch you a few of those and drop them down. Every fish in the lake feeds on them, so you can catch anything in there. It's a win-win. You're gonna catch something, even if they die. I take them and hook them in the side.
Yeah.
And drop them to the bottom. There's some phenomenal catfishing in this lake, especially when it gets later in the summer. Catch you a handful of them shad, even if they die. I hook them in that little black spot on them.
Mm-hmm.
Put the hook right there, and I'll cut their bellies with a pair of scissors. Drop it to the bottom, and hang on. Those big blue cats, they're fun. They're good to eat too.
There's nothing better than a blue or a channel.
Right.
It's right about that big right there.
Right.
That's some good eating.
Yeah, you can catch occasional gar.
Yeah.
But I've caught everything in this lake, including a brim, off a shad.
Yeah.
So everything gets.
You bother with bass minnows and crappie minnows fishing, or?
I do in the wintertime when you can't catch the bait, bass minnows. As soon as these shad spawn in the spring,
They're not gonna hit it.
they will not hit a bass minnow. You couldn't buy a bite with a bass minnow. If you can't catch live bait, it's best to pull some type of artificial, be a mini mac or a crankbait or something, or even spoons.
Do you ever have any success with a casting strategy for stripers down here?
I do. I use a popping cork with a fly on the end, like a little popping fly.
Mm-hmm.
When I'll see them schooling up around the riffraff chasing that live bait,
Okay.
I'll sit back maybe 50 yards from the bank and cast to them and hit that popping cork. And don't be shy. I mean, just rip it. And I use about a 2-foot leader. Sometimes I put a little split shot just to get it just below the surface.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fun. It's real fun. I'll even cast a crankbait to them. Some type of small swim bait, something like a jerk bait or something.
Yeah.
Just that top water action when you'll see the fish pushing the bait up to the top. And just throw it into those schools. It's fun. I'm getting old. My arm don't work as good anymore, so I don't cast a whole lot. I like the lazy fishing.
It gets kind of addictive. I told Kevin Harris one day that if I get any older, I'm gonna have to buy a pontoon boat because that was just too much comfort right there.
I think if anybody wants to buy a 22-foot Ranger, I'm gonna have one for sale here before too long, and I'm buying me a Tri-Tune. It is the ultimate fishing machine.
It's just a square in the water. And
right. I don't have to step up on the front or step up on the live well in the back.
No, and you can move around. You got all the room in the world. You don't have to trip over anybody. I'm
going fishing with Kevin in the mornings. because I don't want to go out and walk around on my boat. I'd rather hang out with Kevin on his Tri-Tune. It'll be nice.
Well, what to kind of close it up here, what would you like to tell everybody about your services that you offer?
Right now, I offer weekend trips. If you got a little notice, I can take a day off and do it during the week. From now until second week in July, I'm available. My guide service is Duncan's Guide Service. I'm on Facebook and a couple of social medias, so look me up. Or you can call me at 678-481-7440. You can give me a call or text me and book a date. I can take up to 6 people out at one trip. I offer half day and full day trips. I can cover pretty much the whole day. I provide everything. You just bring snacks and sodas, and we'll go out and have a great day.
Can't ask for much more than that.
All you gotta do is get on the boat, and I'll do the rest.
Where do you go out of mostly?
Mostly fishtails, over off 44, Fishtails Marina.
If you're coming from I-20 going through the lake area,
it'd be
not
south.
Greensboro, but the lake area, you're going south on 44. Fishtails is the marathon station that's at the second bridge.
Correct.
For all those who are not from down there.
Right. As I usually catch bait there in the morning, it's easier to run out of there. People don't want to take a long boat ride if it's cold in the morning. I'll have them meet me at Long Shoals or at Lawrence Shoals boat ramp.
Yeah.
They can meet me there, and I just pick them up. It gets cold. I know everybody. I like to fish early in the morning when the fish or the bite is real good. When it starts warming up and that sun gets up, 10 or 11 o'clock, the bite slows down. So I start early, and not everybody wants to freeze to death flying down the lake. So I try to accommodate for whatever the conditions are.
Okay.
I try to be a full service guide. We're here to have fun,
I hear you. Well, thanks for coming on this afternoon. I
Thanks for
appreciate
having
it.
me.
And we'll talk to y'all later.